Dear students, in our last class, we discussed why aldehydes and ketones behave differently towards nucleophilic addition reactions based on their structure. In today's class, we are going to discuss about nucleophilic addition reactions of aldehydes and ketones with different types of reagents. In this module, you have to learn nucleophilic addition reactions with the following 5 reagents. So, addition of water, that is hydration. Then addition of HCl. This is another nucleophilic addition reaction. Then addition of sodium bisulfite. Sodium, also known as sodium hydrogen sulfide, NaHSO3. Then addition of alcohol. Then addition of Grignard reagent. This is an organometallic compound. These are the important nucleophilic addition reactions in aldehydes and ketones. So let us see one by one. So first let us discuss the nucleophilic addition of water or hydration of aldehydes and ketones. So aldehydes and ketones undergo a nucleophilic addition reaction with water to yield the corresponding carbonyl hydrates, which are commonly called geminal or gem diols or 1,1 diols. The descriptor geminal means atoms or functional groups that are attached to the same atom. So during the addition of water to aldehyde or ketone, this H and OH adds to the H adds on oxygen and OH adds on C carbon atom. So we will get a gem diol means two OH functional groups add on to the same, add means attached on to the same carbon atom. So this is a gem diol. If the two functional groups or atoms attached on the adjacent atoms, that is known as vicinal type compounds. Vicinal. If the two functional groups are hydroxyl groups, then they are attached on the adjacent atoms. That type of diols are known as vicinal diols. Here we get gem diols. That means two OH groups are attached on the same carbon atom. Here you can see the mechanism. In the mechanism, this nucleophilic water, nucleophile, here a water molecule acts as a nucleophile. Here you can see two electron pairs are there, so it acts as a nucleophile. Then when it attacks the carbon atom, this electron pair shifts to this oxygen atom. So this oxygen gets a negative charge, and then this carbon becomes positive. So that means this carbon becomes electrophilic. Positively charged or electron deficient species are electrophilic. So we will get a structure like this. From this we will get a 1,1 diol. So hydration of aldehyde or ketone produces diols, gem diols or 1,1 diols. Let us know more about the hydration of aldehyde or ketone. Usually hydration of aldehyde or ketone is readily reversible. Here you can see the hydration of formaldehyde. So this reaction is reversible and we will get the hydrate product of formaldehyde. The position of the equilibrium between hydrate and aldehyde or ketone depends on the structure of the carbonyl compound. That means the size and the nature of the substituents. Here we have a simple aldehyde, formaldehyde. When formaldehyde, which is the least stable carbonyl compound, is dissolved in water at 20 degrees Celsius, the position of equilibrium is such that it is about 99.9% hydrated. That means this is a simple aldehyde which on hydration we will get 99.9% hydrated formaldehyde. That means this in this equilibrium the forward reaction is forward. That means the formation of hydrate is highly favored compared to the this formaldehyde structure. That means hydration is maximum possible for this formaldehyde structure. So the hydration depends upon the nature of the substituents that are attached to the carbonyl group. That means the carbonyl group is an aldehyde or a ketone. The side chain substituents that are attached to the carbonyl carbon depends on the hydration of the aldehyde or ketone. That means if the side chains are bulky group or if they are electron releasing also, they will affect the nucleophilic addition. That means if the substituents are very large or bulky groups, then they will hinder the approach of the nucleophile on the electrophilic carbon atom. So the possibility of hydration of the aldehyde or ketone will decrease. So the percentage of hydrate present in solution at equilibrium depends on both electronic and steric effects. In most cases, equilibrium strongly favors the carbonyl compound, particularly when bulky R groups which are also electron donating are present. That means if the substituents groups on the carbonyl groups are bulky and also electron donating. If they are electron donating means if the substituent groups are electron donating, then the electrophilicity of this carbon. Electrophilicity means the positive charge on this carbon. Electrons are electron releasing groups are electron donating groups, or electron releasing groups are there on the carbonyl carbon. Then these electron releasing groups releases electrons, then the electropositivity of the carbonyl carbon decreases. So the approach of the nucleophile to the electrophilic carbon decreases. The possibility or approach of the nucleophile onto the electrophilic carbon decreases due to the electron releasing effect of the groups and also due to the large alkyl groups on the carbonyl carbon. So two factors that decreases the approach of nucleophile on the electrophilic carbon. What are them? One is the size of the substituent groups and the other one is size of the alkyl group and other one is the electronic effect. Electronic effect means electron releasing effect of the substituent groups. In most cases, equilibrium strongly favors that we discussed. Then hydration of a carbonyl group gives a good yield of gem-diol only with an unhindered aldehyde. So in this case you will get a gem-diol. Gem-diol means two hydroxyl groups are attached on the same carbon atom. Here we will get a good yield because of the unhindered aldehyde. This is simple aldehyde, formaldehyde. A 37% solution of formaldehyde in water is called formalin. Formalin is a solution that we used for antiseptic purpose, then used in laboratory for preserving biological specimens. So this is simple concepts about the hydration of aldehyde and ketone. Let us see how the addition of water occurs to aldehyde and ketones. The presence of electron donating or electron releasing R group which decreases the positive charge on the carbonyl carbon. So if there is an electron donating group, that decreases the electrophilicity of the, here you can see in the case of acetaldehyde, one CH3 group is there, so it is electron releasing and the electropositivity or electrophilicity of the carbon decreases. Positive charge decreases due to this electron releasing effect. So thereby decreases its electrophilicity and stabilizes the carbonyl compound. So electrophilicity decreases means positive charge on this carbon decreases, so it becomes somewhat stable, so decreases the yield of the hydrate. So it has a tendency to exist as aldehyde even when we add the water molecule. So the presence of electron releasing group decreases the hydration effect. So here you can see in the case of acetaldehyde only 50% hydrate is formed, but in the case of formaldehyde we got 99.9% hydrate. So because of the presence of electron releasing R group, CH3 group, the product is only half percentage. Then on the other hand, direct hydration of ketones is difficult because they have two alkyl groups attached to the carbonyl group. In the case of ketones, there will be two alkyl groups. So in fact, acetone and other ketones which have two electron donor R groups, which decrease the electrophilicity of the carbonyl carbon and stabilize the carbonyl compound and form less than 1% of the hydrate at equilibrium. So in the case of acetone, this is a simple ketone, there are two alkyl groups which are electron releasing, so it will decrease the electrophilicity or electropositivity of this carbon. So whenever there is increase in the electropositivity of this carbon, so there will be greater tendency for a nucleophile to attack on this carbon. So here there are two electron releasing groups, so electrophilicity of this carbon decreases. They are electron releasing, both these groups are electron releasing, so positive charge will decrease due to the electron releasing effect. So there will be less tendency for the nucleophile to attack on this carbon. So the equilibrium favors in this reaction towards the ketone. That means there is less tendency for hydration of this ketone, and we will get less than 1%, that means 0.14% hydrate is only formed in this case. So the structure of aldehyde or ketone depends affects the nucleophilic addition of water. So that's all about the nucleophilic addition of water to aldehyde and ketone. Let us see how the presence of electron withdrawing groups like chlorine affects the nucleophilic addition of water to a carbonyl compound. Compounds with strong electron withdrawing groups attached to the carbonyl group can form stable gem diols. The compound called chloral hydrate, a stable crystalline hydrate formed by the addition of water to trichloroacetaldehyde, also known as chloral. So when we treat trichloroacetaldehyde or chloral with water, we will get a stable chloral hydrate. In this case, the equilibrium favors forward reaction. That means the three electron withdrawing chlorine atoms of chloral place a partial positive charge on the carbon alpha to the carbonyl, thereby destabilizing the carbonyl group and making the carbonyl more electrophilic. That means with the presence of this electron withdrawing group, this carbon becomes partial positively charged. Then due to the positive charge of this carbon becomes highly electrophilic or highly positively charged carbon. So this becomes more electrophilic, and a nucleophile can easily attack this carbon compared to our electron releasing compared to the presence of electron releasing substituents in an aldehyde or ketone. Here, because of the presence of these three electron withdrawing groups, this carbon, electrophilic carbon of the carbonyl group becomes highly electrophilic, and therefore the nucleophile here the water. So water can add very easily to the carbonyl carbon. So we will get a high yield of chloral hydrate and stable gem-diol compound is formed here. So the nucleophilic addition of water to aldehydes and ketones is slow in pure water, but is catalyzed by both base and acid. Usually the addition of water to aldehydes and ketones is slow in normal water, pure water, but we can increase the rate of the reaction by adding base or acid. So whenever there is a electron releasing groups on the carbonyl carbon, that will decrease the rate of the nucleophilic addition of water, whereas whenever there is an electron withdrawing groups on the carbonyl carbon, that will increase the rate of the nucleophilic addition of water. Now moving on to the next nucleophilic addition reaction of aldehydes and ketones, that is addition of HCl. So in this case, aldehydes and ketones add HCl molecule and we will get cyanohydrin, corresponding cyanohydrins. So aldehydes and ketones add HCl in the presence of a base to form cyanohydrins. Here we have the example of aldehyde. RCHO adds HCl in the presence of a base and we will get aldehyde cyanohydrin. H will add here on the oxygen and Cn minus add on the electrophilic carbon. So we will get aldehyde cyanohydrin. Example acetaldehyde. When adds HCl in the presence of a base, we will get acetaldehyde cyanohydrin. In the case of benzaldehyde, we will get benzaldehyde cyanohydrin. Here we have an example of ketone, general reaction of ketone. Ketone on reaction with HCl, we will get ketone cyanohydrin. Then example acetone adds HCl and we will get acetone cyanohydrin. So the products are usually cyanohydrin when we treat an aldehyde or ketone with HCl. The reaction takes place slowly with pure HCl but faster in the presence of a base, which easily generates Cn minus, a better nucleophile than HCl. So this reaction usually carried out in basic medium. So the reaction will become so fast. Then cyanohydrins are usually prepared, HCl is usually prepared by dissolving NaCN or KCN in water. Then adding the base, then we will get HCl. So this is the nucleophilic addition reaction of HCN to aldehydes and ketones. We know that we can prepare cyanohydrins from aldehydes and ketones by treating with HCl. Now let us see how these cyanohydrins are important for preparing other compounds. Cyanohydrins are very useful synthetic intermediates. They give alpha hydroxy acids on hydrolysis by a mineral acid. This is cyanohydrin, which on acid hydrolysis we will get a alpha hydroxy acid. Here you can see this carbon is alpha carbon, that means adjacent to the carboxyl group. Here you can see there is one hydroxyl group. So this is alpha hydroxy carboxylic acid. So an example, acetaldehyde cyanohydrin on treating with water, that means acidic hydrolysis, then we will get lactic acid. So this is an alpha hydroxy acid, but by using acetaldehyde we will get lactic acid. So this is an important reaction. That means how can we convert acetaldehyde to lactic acid? So first we have to treat the acetaldehyde with HCN. So we will get acetaldehyde cyanohydrin, which on acidic hydrolysis we will get lactic acid. Here we have another example, reduction. That means cyanohydrins give alpha hydroxy amines on reduction. On hydrolysis we will get alpha hydroxy acids, whereas on reduction we will get alpha hydroxy amines. So here you can see the reduction reaction. The cyanohydrin on reduction we will get alpha hydroxy amine. That means these cyano groups will undergo reduction. In the hydrolysis case, this CN group undergo hydrolysis to COH group. But in the case of reduction, this CN group undergo reduction to CH2NH2 group. So here we have acetaldehyde cyanohydrin, which on reduction with lithium aluminum hydride we will get 1 amino propan 2. That means this cyano group will undergo reduction to CH2 NH2. So that's all about the importance of cyanohydrins. Now we have the third nucleophilic addition of third type of compound, that is sodium bisulfate. Addition of sodium bisulfate to aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes and ketones add sodium bisulfite to form the corresponding crystalline bisulfite addition compound. So when we add sodium bisulfate, that is having the formula NaHSO3 to aldehyde and ketones, you will get the corresponding crystalline bisulfate addition compound. So in nucleophilic addition of sodium bisulfate, larger ketones do not react with the sodium bisulfite, since larger alkyl groups hinder the attack of the nucleophile. That we, as in the case of addition of water, if there are larger alkyl groups on the ketonic functional group, then that will hinder the addition of the sodium bisulfate nucleophile. So presence of larger alkyl groups will decrease the formation of addition product aldehyde bisulfate or ketone bisulfate. Then aryl ketones like acetophenone and benzophenone do not give addition product with the sodium bisulfite due to steric factors. Then these ketones, acetophenone and benzophenone, in acetophenone we know that there is one phenyl group and in acetophenone we have one here we have one CH3 group and one CH5 group. This is the structure of benzophenone. In acetophenone we will have one CH3 group and one phenyl group. Then benzophenone. In the case of benzophenone we will have two phenyl groups. So aryl ketones like acetophenone and benzophenone are having large alkyl groups. So the large substituents, aryl groups or alkyl groups. So because of the presence of large group, they hinder the attack of the nucleophile. So in the case of here we have the example aldehyde on addition with sodium bisulfate, we will get aldehyde bisulfite compound. Example, acetaldehyde on addition with sodium bisulfite, we will get acetaldehyde bisulfate compound. Ketone, we will get on addition with sodium bisulfate, we will get ketone bisulfite compound. Example, acetone on addition with sodium bisulfite, we will get acetone bisulfate. But in the case of acetophenone or benzophenone, there will not be any formation of addition product with sodium bisulfite due to steric factors of this large aryl group and large aryl groups. Or in the case of acetophenone, we have one alkyl group and one aryl group and one alkyl group. So because of the steric influence of these two groups, the reaction will occur. The reaction will not occur. Now let us know the addition of fourth compound, that is alcohol. Addition of alcohols, formation of hemiacetals and acetals. That means first on addition of alcohol to aldehyde and ketone, first we will get hemiacetals, then we will get acetals. So alcohols add to aldehydes and ketones. Nucleophilic addition of one molecule of alcohol to the carbonyl group of an aldehyde or a ketone in the presence of an acid catalyst yields a hemiacetal, an alkoxy alcohol or a half acetal. Then the hemiacetal reacts with the second molar equivalent of the alcohol to produce an acetal and water. Here we have one example, that is this is structure of an aldehyde or a ketone. If both R groups are alkyl, then we will get a ketone. Then if one alkyl group is one R is alkyl or aryl, then the other R is H, we will get an aldehyde. So first an aldehyde or ketone on treating with an ROH, alcohol, in the presence of an acid. Here the addition of nucleophile is like that. Here the ROH molecule can exist as RO minus and H plus. So H plus will add on this carbon and RO minus will, that nucleophile will add on this electrophilic carbon. So we will get a hemiacetal structure like this. Then which on further addition with another molecule of alcohol, we will get an acetal. That means this hydrogen will replace by an OR, by a NAR group, then eliminating water molecule. So simple hemiacetals are often not stable relative to the starting material. That means compared to aldehyde or ketone, hemiacetals are not stable, hence generally not isolable. We cannot isolate hemiacetal during the addition of alcohol to aldehyde or ketone. But the corresponding acetals formed are considerably more stable than hemiacetal. So the final product acetal is more stable compared to hemiacetal. So we can isolate acetal when we add alcohol to aldehyde or ketone. So final product is the most stable one compared to the intermediate product hemiacetal. Here we are using different types of acids for dehydration. Common acids used to catalyze the reaction include dry HCl gas. Here we are using dry HCl gas or para-toluene sulfonic acid and concentrated H2SO. These reagents are capable of removing water from the reaction. So this is the reaction of addition of alcohol to aldehydes and ketones. Now we can see the example for addition of aldehydes to addition of alcohol to aldehydes. Acetal formation is reversible. In this case, here we can see there's addition of alcohol to acetaldehyde. This reaction is reversible. For simple aldehydes, the equilibrium constants generally favor the acetal products. So first we will get an acetaldehyde, ethyl hemiacetal. We know that hemiacetal is less stable compared to acetaldehyde. Then it will further add one molecule of alcohol and we will get acetaldehyde diethyl acetal. This is more stable compared to hemiacetal. So this equilibrium favors the acetal product. Acid catalyzed reaction of acetaldehyde with ethanol gives a good yield of acetal. So this is the final product that is more stable compared to the starting material. Let us see more examples for the addition of alcohols to ketones forming acetals. Reaction between cyclohexanone and methanol in the presence of dry HCl gas or para-toluene sulfonic acid. The final product is cyclohexanone dimethyl acetal. So here we have one ketone, that is cyclohexanone, which on treating with methanol in the presence of toluene sulfonic acid, we will get cyclohexanone methyl hemiacetal, which again adds one more molecule of methanol and we will get cyclohexanone dimethyl acetal with the elimination of water molecule. 2-methoxy here on the oxygen, first hydrogen atom adds and on the carbon OCH3 substituent adds, methoxy substituent. Then again with the reaction of one molecule of methanol, this H is replaced by the CH3 group. So we will get dimethyl acetal. However, with hindered aldehydes and with most ketones, the equilibrium constants favor the carbonyl compounds rather than the acetals. acetal formation is not favored in the case of hindered aldehydes. Here you can see hindered aldehydes and ketones. Then here in the case of acetone, here we have two methyl groups. Then which one treating with methanol? First we will get a hemiacetal. Then again on treating with one more molecule of methanol, we will get acetone dimethyl acetate. Here you can see the equilibrium favors the backward reaction. In this case also the equilibrium favors the backward reaction. That means the possibility of formation of acetal is very less using highly substituted ketone or aldehyde. So sorry, in this case ketone. Here we are discussing about the addition of alcohols with ketones. Normally with hindered aldehydes and ketones, the product that means acetal formation is possibility of acetal formation is very low compared to unhindered aldehyde and ketone. Now we can see how cyclic acetal formation occurs. Cyclic acetal formation is favored when an aldehyde or ketone is treated with a diol in the presence of an anhydrous acid. So 1,2-diol yields a 5-membered ring, while a 1,3-diol yields a 6-membered ring. Here we have acetone molecule which on treating with ethylene glycol. This is a vicinal diol. Vicinal diol means two hydroxyl groups are attached to adjacent carbon atoms. So which on treating with toluene sulfonic acid, one molecule of water will get eliminated from this. Then we will get acetone ethylene glycol acetal. This is a 5-membered ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from 1,2-diols we will get a 5-membered ring. This is 1,2-diol. Then from 1,3-diol, this is 1,3-diol. 1, 2, 3. So this is 1,3-diol which on treating with a ketone we will get a 6-membered ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6-membered ring, 6-membered acetal formed by the reaction of 1,3-diol with a ketone. So this is the formation of cyclic acetal with diols. Now let us discuss the addition of fourth compound, that is Grignard reagent, an organometallic compound to aldehydes and ketones. So Grignard reagents, alkyl magnesium halides having the formula RMgX, acts as good carbon nucleophiles. Usually Grignard reagents exist as R minus Mgx plus. So they act as carbon nucleophile toward carbonyl compounds because they are reactive enough to deliver an R minus group, a carbanion, to the electrophilic carbonyl carbon. Grignard reagents add to aldehydes and ketones with the formation of a new CC bond to yield addition products which are magnesium alkoxides. So when we add Grignard reagent to aldehyde or ketone, there will be the formation of a new CC bond and finally we will get alcohol. The alkoxide ions undergo protonation upon acidic hydrolysis. So here we have an aldehyde or ketone. There is another formula for an aldehyde or ketone. Then which on treating with Grignard reagent, that is having the structural formula R minus Mgx plus. R minus Mgx plus. So R minus will add on to this electropositive carbon C, then Mgx minus add on, this R minus will add on to this, R minus will add on to this electrophilic carbon C, then Mgx plus will add on to this oxygen atom. So we will get a structure like this addition product that is magnesium alkoxide. So a new carbon-carbon bond will form due to the attachment of R to this carbon. There will be a formation of a new CC bond. So which on further hydrolysis we will get an alcohol. That means this part will become OH group. So this is the addition of Grignard reagent. See how different types of products are formed by the addition of Grignard reagent to a carbonyl compound. The reaction of a Grignard reagent with a carbonyl compound provides a useful route to alcohol. So addition of Grignard reagent to carbonyl compound, that means to ketones or aldehydes, provides alcohols as the final product. So the type of carbonyl compound chosen determines the class of alcohol produced. That means if we vary the carbonyl compound, we will get different types of alcohol. That means primary, secondary, tertiary alcohol. That depends upon the structure of carbonyl compound. If we take formaldehyde that reacts with Grignard reagents to form the addition products, that means first we will get an adduct which on acidic hydrolysis give primary alcohol. Here we have formaldehyde which on treating with Grignard reagent, that is alkyl magnesium halide in either medium. First we will get an alkoxide, that means R will add on to this carbon and then MgX plus add on to this oxygen, we will get an adduct alkoxide, which on acidic hydrolysis we will get a primary alcohol. That means this part becomes OH and then MgOH molecule will get eliminated. So with formaldehyde on reaction with ethyl magnesium bromide, this is a Grignard reagent molecule which on treating with which in the presence of ether, first we will get an adduct, that is alkoxide, which on acidic hydrolysis we will get a primary alcohol. So with formaldehyde, the addition of Grignard reagent results in the formation of primary alcohols. Here we have another example, formaldehyde on treating with phenyl magnesium iodide. First we will get an adduct which on hydrolysis we will get benzyl alcohol. This is also a primary alcohol, C6H5CH2OH. So Grignard reagent on treating with formaldehyde followed by acidic hydrolysis we will get primary alcohols as the final product. Now let us see what will be the products formed by the reaction of aldehydes other than formaldehyde with Grignard reagent. So when aldehydes other than formaldehyde react with Grignard reagents to form addition products which on acidic hydrolysis give secondary alcohols. So with formaldehyde usually we get primary alcohols, with aldehydes other than formaldehyde we get secondary alcohol. See here where the aldehyde is RCH, which on treating with the Grignard reagent RMGX, first we will get an adduct which on hydrolysis we will get a secondary alcohol. So this is not formaldehyde, this is aldehyde other than formaldehyde. So here we have example ethanol, see the CHO, that is acetaldehyde, on treating with the methyl magnesium bromide we will get an adduct, that is alkoxide, which on hydrolysis we will get propan-2-ol, that is a secondary alcohol. Secondary alcohol means an alcoholic group attached to a secondary carbon. This is a secondary carbon that is attached to two other carbon atoms. Here we have another example, acetaldehyde on treating with a cyclohexyl magnesium bromide, first we will get an adduct, that is alkoxide, which on acidic hydrolysis we will get secondary alcohol. So aldehyde other than formaldehyde form secondary alcohol with Grignard reagent. Now we have the last product, tertiary alcohols formed by the reaction of ketones with Grignard reagent. So usually ketones on treating with Grignard reagent we will get tertiary alcohol as the final product after the hydrolysis of the adduct. So ketone on treating with alkyl magnesium halide, this is the Grignard reagent. So first we will get an adduct alkoxide, which on hydrolysis we will get a tertiary alcohol. Here we have an example, butanol. Butanol on treating with methyl magnesium iodide in ether medium we will get an adduct, then on hydrolysis we will get a tertiary alcohol. This is the tertiary alcohol group COH. That means this is a tertiary carbon on which an alcohol group is attached. Tertiary carbon means a carbon which is attached to three other carbon, 1, 2 and 3. So in general we can say that formaldehyde forms primary alcohol with Grignard reagents, then aldehydes other than formaldehyde form secondary alcohols with Grignard reagent, then ketones form tertiary alcohols with Grignard reagent. This is very important reaction and used for the preparation of different types of alcohols from carbonyl compounds. That's all about the reactions of aldehydes and ketones with the different types of reagents. Here we discussed the reaction with water, HCN, alcohol, sodium bisulfate, and also with Grignard reagent. Thank you.